Good morning, YouTube. I wanted to go over a thing on defensive shotguns. I noticed this morning there's a lot of buzz over the 223 green tip ammo, most likely going to be banned under executive action by the president, which, I won't go into too much detail there other than the fact that I can tell you that every gun shop within my area, I've talked to guys from 3 or 4 of them, every last bit of 223 ammo is gone of any kind. And I've seen several online retailers already jacking up their prices in anticipation. They've sold few, and I'm not a big fan of retailers doing that. It's one of the things that I find pretty disgusting when you see what they did with some ammo, and I'm seeing they're doing it again, and I don't agree with it. But going back to defensive shotgun, I was talking to a guy yesterday, law enforcement officer, retired law enforcement, and he made the statement that he doesn't understand why more people aren't using shotguns, defensive shotguns. And I agree with him. I've always been a fan of shotguns. They've always been more my thing. I mean, nothing against ARs, nothing against 223. Great round, great gun, but at the same time, why have shotguns been more or less ignored over the last few years? And you do see people using them. You do see them as being quite popular by some shooters. But for the most part, they've pretty much been ignored. And I don't know why that is. I think a lot of people look at the ammunition capacity of a shotgun, because even at the most, with an extended magazine tube, it doesn't matter what version you have or what brand, you're talking 7 or 8 rounds at the most in the tube, 1 in the chamber, and that's pretty much all you're going to get. And like this Remington here in front of me, it's a standard magazine tube, so 4 in the tube, 1 in the chamber, But at the same time, look at what you're getting for those. You're getting, like this buckshot here in front of me is standard 2 3/4 inch 9 pellet Winchester double-aught buck, 1,325 feet per second. Now you're putting out 9.33 caliber pellets, 33 caliber round lead balls at, a pretty decent speed, and even at 15 yards, they pattern fairly well. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, gee, the shotgun's a close range weapon. It's not good past certain yards. Yes and no. With buckshot, yeah, you're limited to about 15, 20, 25 yards, especially with the shorter barrels. But then you start to get into the whole aspect of slugs. And not a lot of people really seem to understand the power behind a good shotgun slug. Whether it's a 12 gauge, a 20 gauge, and I've used even 16 gauge, and I've killed deer with them. And when you see the damage a slug that size can do to a deer at distance, 35, 40, 50 yards, like I've shot them with accuracy, they can do some tremendous damage. Now, a good shotgun, rifle sight, smooth bore, not even a rifle bore, smooth bore no less, with shotgun slugs, 2 3/4 inch 12 gauge slugs, regular rifle slugs for the smooth bore, which are fairly cheap, they do fairly well in accuracy out to 100 yards. And that's something, and they carry a lot of power at that distance. They're not dropping a lot when they get to 100 yards. There's not a lot you're losing there. And it's still a very large piece of lead. You're talking a 1 ounce piece of lead in the case of 12 gauge. And they have some that are a little less. But that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of power. A lot of people, I think the reason they shy away from the shotgun is they seem to think the recoil is excessive. Yes, the recoil is, for someone who's used to shooting a 22 all the time, then you switch to a 12 gauge shotgun. And I think the biggest problem with that is people are handed a shotgun, they load them up with buckshot, and here, shoot this, and they don't work into it. They don't let them shoot birdshot first, then work their way up to buckshot. Let them practice a little bit more, and then work your way up. They just hand them a gun with slugs or buckshot, boom, knock them on their butt, or they're not taught properly. I've seen a lot of that, and that's where that's wrong. I've seen 115, 120 pound women shoot 12 gauge pumps with double-aught buckshot quite well and not with any issues because they've shot them, they're used to them, they know what they're doing. And the shotgun has a good history when it comes to what its performance is. Or else why would it have lasted as long? You have had many other guns come and go But the pump shotgun and the shotgun in general, defensive-wise, dates back to the Civil War, with your Confederate cavalry carrying cut-down shotguns because they didn't have a standard cavalry arm for them. So a lot of the preferred weapon, especially for close encounters, was a cut-down shotgun. And then as time went by, you progressed towards the later Western era. Look at your coach guns, your Wells Fargo and your Stagecoach coach guns, short-barreled shotguns. Why do they use those with only 2 barrels instead of a rifle? Performance, and the fact that you were delivering a lot of lead for those 2 shots. And then, of course, you got later on into World War I. Well, the later shotguns like the 1887 Winchester, the levers, the pump 97. Then you get into World War I. And the shotgun was the most feared weapon on the battlefield. The Kaiser made a proclamation if they caught any American soldiers with a 12-gauge pump shotgun, they were to be executed. They feared that weapon. And they weren't even, there was no high brass magnum loads in those days. It was standard buckshot. At that time, it might not even been 2 3/4 inch. A lot of your earlier 12 gauges were 2 5/8. So they weren't even anywhere near the loads you have today. And then, of course, law enforcement has carried on the shotgun for many years. In some places, it's still preferred versus a rifle because of the fact of what it can do. It is a proven defensive weapon. A good shotgun with the right loads, with a person who knows how to use it, is very effective. And as far as ammunition goes, ammunition for a 12-gauge shotgun is about what it was a few years ago. That price really hasn't gone up. I recently found a box of 5 Remington 2 3/4 inch rifle slugs, not sabot slugs, rifle slugs for a smooth bore, and I got them for $4.99 for a box of 5. That's the exact same price I've been getting them for almost 5 or 6 years. The Winchester double-aught buckshot in front of me here. These are Federals lined up, but these are full boxes of Winchester 12-gauge 2 3/4 inch double-aught. I get them for $12 for a box of 15. That's about what I was paying for them 5, 6, in some cases 7, 8 years ago. The prices really haven't gone up. So while everyone is going to be looking and scrounging for AR ammunition, the 223, and for any kind you can get, and with the prices skyrocketing already, I will tell you, if you're looking for a defensive gun, get yourself a shotgun. Get yourself a decent 12-gauge pump shotgun. Practice with it. I would start off with buckshot. Practice. If you're not used to it, work your way up to buckshot. Practice with slugs. And you will find that it is a better weapon for what you want. I'm not going to say it's a better weapon than the AR, because some people, it depends on where you live, your situation, whatever. But for some people, the pump shotgun is a better weapon. And I'm going to tell you that buckshot in a shotgun has proven itself time and time again. You can look up various gunfight of the OK Corral. Most feared weapon there was Doc Holliday's double-barrel shotgun. Look up Outlaw Bill Doolin. Picture him where he was filled with buckshot. Because even back then, lawmen knew and outlaws knew the gun that was the instant fight stopper was a shotgun versus anything else. And I would tell people with the prices of what ARs, AR accessories, and now the ammo to go with them being not only up, almost out of sight, I will tell you, look at the shotguns. A good pump shotgun, you can get them used for a couple hundred. You can get new ones for $300, $400, $500. Far less than an AR. Ammo is cheap and it's plentiful. So with that being said, boys and girls, I'm going to tell you with the prices, if you have a 223, buy every bit of ammo you can get at the moment and start hand loading. Get yourself a press, start hand loading. I would even tell you anybody with a shotgun do the same thing. But If you're looking just to buy a gun right now, a defensive gun, I would stay away from anything ARs because the prices are going to be outrageous. And the ammo is going to be outrageous. Whereas a shotgun is going to be what you can get right now with no problems. That may change in the future. That's why I would tell you to get it now. So with that being said, YouTube, have a good day.